problems. All human beings have problems. But when you're a problem people, your humanity is called into question. You're homogenized. Each black person is interchangeable, substitutable. And so the boy said, lo and behold, this double consciousness is one in which we still know we're in America, but not of it. Aspiring to be an American, knowing that you are here longer than many Americans. You know, America really ought to be celebrating Du Bois every day, because if black people had produced a different kind of intellectual leader, a leader who said, you terrorize us, we'll terrorize you. You hate us, we'll hate you. America wouldn't exist as a democracy. It'd been fascist a long time ago.
Some leader could have declared war. Said, we're in a state of war.
Absolutely.
We're going to fight back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think you would have gotten along with Du Bois?
I would have loved him, but I loved that Negro at a distance. I got too much Curtis Mayfield, Richard Pryor, Smokey Robinson, Aretha Franklin in me. You know, he didn't appreciate blues. He hated jazz and so forth. He's not my kind of Negro, but he's the greatest black scholar in the history of the country. I think he's the greatest public intellectual in the history of the empire.
Yeah.
He's too elitist and highbrow. That's not my thing.
And very stiff. I tell my students that Du Bois is so arrogant. He slept in a three-piece suit, man. You know.
Du Bois became a leading figure in a generation of African Americans who came of age during the rise of Jim Crow. They called themselves New Negroes for a new century, and they were intent on reconstructing the image of their race.
This new Negro, this person born in freedom, is educated. You have people who understand that they are to be leaders. The mantra of that time period was to be of service to the race.
The Talented Tenth is a theory that Du Bois puts forth, which is the idea that 10% of African Americans at this time period would be exemplary, that they had a social responsibility and an economic responsibility to lift up everyone else.
Black women are coming into their own politically, and they themselves preach, right, that they are the essential agents in the fight against Jim Crow going forward. On the one hand, oppression is real, but on the other hand, what is equally real are the institutions like churches and schools and the rise of clubs and fraternities and sororities. And all of that is giving Black people a sense of what's called self-help.
The New Negro generation sought to engender Black uplift through individual achievement, production of the arts, especially fiction and poetry.
When we think of this period, that part of what African Americans were doing was writing themselves into history. Many African American novelists would send copies of their novels to the president or to senators as a way of making sort of political arguments through art. So to display artistic excellence to the larger society was really a way of saying, you're absolutely wrong. We are not inferior. In fact, we can do work that is quite extraordinary and that you find compelling, America.
The tragic dimension of African American experience, slavery, Jim Crow, lynching, I mean, all of that is writ large. And so there are a variety of ways to try to make sense of that. Music is one of the important frames through which you try to make sense of the world that you find yourself in.
Music has been an essential part of the Black experience since the earliest days of slavery. African Americans have given birth to an entire genealogy of musical forms that are fundamental to America's national identity. Among the most popular Black musical genres of the late 19th century was ragtime. At its opposite extreme was a racist tradition known as the coon song.
Coon songs, although many don't want to talk about them because of their being